Welcome to the Purity Pulse podcast, your go-to podcast for the natural health industry and everything Purity Life. I'm Julie.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're going to go through our weekly check-in. We're going to also speak with Mike Fata.
Yes.
And we're going to do what's new to Purity Life.
Perfect.
Erin, talk to me about this week. What's happening?
It is so in my house. There's lots of energy because we're getting through to the end of school. Tomorrow's last day of school for my kids.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Really?
So they've been. I mean, you imagine I can't imagine what teachers go through this week. But the energy, right? It's just a buzz. And they are ready for it. They are ready for summer, and there's lots of treats and not a whole lot of focus going on at school. So yeah.
So exams are over. It's just the fun days, right?
It's been basically
been a couple of years I've been to.
For them, honestly, I'm not sure exactly when teachers put their report cards in, but I'm sure it happened a couple weeks ago. So now it's just clear sailing, pretty much. It's kind of funny that way, but yeah.
What do you remember of your time of your last couple of days at school? And
it's so interesting when you think back. Like even with my kids, they're both very different for end of school and beginning of school. I think schedule changes always throw everybody off, and sometimes I think you see it in different ways, like not the direct ways, right? It'll be a little bit afterwards where suddenly they're acting out a little bit more, or they're a little bit, just stronger emotions. But I think that's how I was as a kid too. I remember even change, and honestly still as an adult, change, whether it's good or bad, I usually see the impact kind of after, as I'm getting into it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what's going on here. When you get a little bit of hindsight. Yeah. But certainly I remember like when school was starting at the end of summer, having the last week or two of summer, not being able to sleep and just like new things are coming and you don't know what they are. And
were you sad that the summer holidays were over, or excited?
No, it was anxious and excited about going back.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I was exactly the same. For me, I knew that was new clothes coming.
Right.
So I was all excited and just going shopping for new pens and all of this.
Yeah.
And
New backpack, new lunchbox.
Oh yeah. And I remember my parents every year say, well, your backpack seems, I didn't want backpack. I needed like a briefcase. I was young and still having that idea, like the weird kid. But it was always that moment. And I was always shopping with my dad, not with my mom.
Right.
My mom was going with my sister, but my dad...
so your mom did it, but you were matched up differently.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Different
Did
personality.
That work better for all of you?
My dad was sitting right on the corner and he was waiting for me. And I had a strategy because I really wanted certain things.
Right.
And I knew that I could get it if I get him so tired that he would say yes. So I was pretending, I'm still looking.
This is what I worry about my kids, that they think like this.
Maybe don't listen to this. But that's totally what happened. And we were coming back home and my mom was like, why did you buy that for her? Like, she's a kid. And it's like, she couldn't find anything else. And I wanted to go. And I was just like in the corner, like, ooh. I guess that was the beginning of
exactly
sales.
Where I wanted to.
Exactly. So, always been very exciting for me going back to school. And of course, I was very eager to learn. And so, I was very excited about that. So, busy week for you then.
Yes, busy week. Busy week. Changes all around us.
Yeah. Well, let's go into our interview now with Mike Fata. Thank you for joining us, Mike. We're very delighted to have you on our podcast because you have a wealth of information, knowledge, and a great story. So we were excited to share that with our listeners. And so to kick us off in that podcast, give us a little bit of how did you came about in that industry? Like some of us know, but it's always good to have that, your long story to where you started and how you became owner of a business and all of that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Love the natural products industry. It's been 26 years now for me. So
nice.
My name is Mike Fata. I'm based in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So I'm a prairie boy. And my path into the natural products industry, I used to be overweight when I was young and wasn't educated about health and really fell prey to fast food. And when I was 18, I decided that I was going to change my diet, change my lifestyle, and really get interested in health. And I lost over 100 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And but I was still confused about diet. And the turning point for me was reading Udo Erasmus's book, Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill.
Oh, great.
That really resolved the fats for me because I thought fat was bad. I was on the no fat diet before that, and then I learned from Udo, essential fatty acids, and Udo wrote in his book like hemp is the best source of essential fats, but it's not available yet in North America. And I met the other two co-founders of Manitoba Harvest, Martin and Alex, and we were just they were working to lobby the government to legalize hemp. And I thought, okay, when hemp gets legalized, here we go, because it's the best source of essential fatty acids. And that's how we got started. One health food store in Winnipeg, and one farmer growing the first hemp seeds in Manitoba. And from there, it was all organic growth.
Yeah. Cool. I didn't know that it had the Udo source from it too. That's neat.
Yeah. I was looking at, starting to look into and read your book, and I want to go back a little bit on your story about how you went from being, overweight to wanting to take ownership of your health. And then I think you went on the other side because you like cut off basically all the fats, thinking that was bad. And then you were almost like an anorexic mindset, which is, it's that scale of, and all the confusion between, I want to do better for me, but going from one end to the other. So that is an interesting take on the education.
Yeah. And there wasn't, the internet was just getting started. So there was no social media. There was a lot less access to information. It was really books. And so I read Dr. Nathan Pritikin's book on the no fat diet. At that time, you had like Jennifer Aniston and celebrities that were saying no fat. Fat. If you eat no fat, you'll lose weight. And I said, okay, all right. And so I started eating no fat.
Yeah.
They had no fat everything. I've realized after that like no fat for a lot of products kind of meant chemical shitstorm. Like there was a lot of bad ingredients in it.
Yeah.
And I was starting to suffer. I went down to 160 pounds. My skin was horrible. My hair was falling out. All these symptoms of essential fatty acid deficiency. But until I discovered Udo's book in the health food store, I walked around for probably 2 years telling people fat's bad, cut fat out of your diet and it'll be good. And then I went 180-degree switch and said, oh, you need essential fatty acids. Forget everything I told you for the last couple of years. But now, thankfully nowadays there's a lot more readily available information for people that are looking to change their diet, change their lifestyle, but you still have to weed through kind of some of the misinformation.
Cut the clutter.
That's what.
Yeah. Especially with trends, right? We you look at everything that is happening right now. Like you have the different, like the carnivore diet, and then you have all these diets that are showing and popping. And as you said, right now we're fortunate because there's a lot of information out there for us to grab on too. But there's
also just as much poor information out there for us to not grab. And if you don't know, you just go with what you're reading. So trying to sort out what's accurate and what is really a good idea is still difficult.
So it's
and everybody's different. So everyone's different. You have to experiment on yourself, and that's kind of what I did for the first. I'm still learning every day. 26 years later on my health journey, but for the first 3, 4, 5 years, like I went on a no fat diet, and then I went on a vegetarian diet, and then I was actually a vegan diet, and then a raw food vegan diet for a bit, and I realized what works for me is I'm a qualitarian and generally eat a Mediterranean diet, very healthy, natural fruits and vegetables, but, I eat meats and like flexitarian kind of style, but real food, nothing artificial or weird chemical ingredients, and just stay away from that. And my body likes that, I stay healthy and lean, and it's not too much work, but there was a lot of work to figure out what actually did work for me, and then put that into practice.
It's a journey, eh? Like having to that whole tested and tried to get where you need to get. Like that's a whole journey.
Yeah, I think the key is Mike is saying, you have to listen to your body. Like you take in the information, but then at the end of the day, you have to listen to how your body reacts to things. And before we get into other questions, I see a lot on your posting too on Instagram that you incorporated a lot of very good health practices. Like you do, all the training, exercise. So you put talk to us a little bit about all of your good practices. I think it's good. to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it started. I tell people it started like the TV show The Biggest Loser. When I first started losing the weight and I was 300 pounds, my brother took me to the gym, and I could barely lift the bar, and I was crying. Like on the TV show, you see a lot of that stuff from people that are just starting out.
Yeah.
But over time, I learned, okay, yeah, weight training and lifting heavy things is important. Doing different cardiovascular exercises. I like to jog. I like to swim. I like to bike. But getting the heart rate up is very, very important. But I learned a lot about healing the body, and there's all these modalities that you could heal the body, whether it's doing fasting or doing cleanses if that's what your body needs, or doing sauna and doing cold plunges, doing red light therapy. Like there's all these things that we can do to help our body heal and become more powerful and more energized. And over the last couple decades, I've slowly but surely added all of them and a lot of these great things to my house and to my normal routine. And now you're seeing that more from we saw it in athletes, like how athletes have been doing ice baths after practice to heal their muscles for a long time, but now it's getting popular. People go, oh, wait a sec, I can get into cold water and it has all these therapeutic effects. So just learned a lot. I'm highly interested in it because as an entrepreneur, I think being an entrepreneur is like being an athlete. You have to be in your best shape physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah, all balanced.
So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing now. So now you seem to be mentoring some other businesses, right?
Yeah, so we grew Manitoba Harvest over 20 years and sold the business in 2019 in a big transaction, $419 million transaction. And over the last 5 years, my focus has been helping other entrepreneurs as an investor, advisor, coach, and mentor. So I have 9 companies in my portfolio that I'm invested in that I help those founders, advise them, and even on their board of directors. But I generally like helping entrepreneurs win. And so I've had over 1,000 conversations with founders and just understanding the problems that they're having at the stage of business that they are, and offer them some advice of what I've learned growing my business and what I would do if I was in their situation. And they created more kind of mass mentorship tools, whether it's on social media sharing or doing podcasts like this where entrepreneurs can kind of learn some of my from some of my messages and some of my learning as well.
Yeah.
How do you decide on who you're going to help? Because I'm sure that, people know you and they know what you do. And I'm sure they've seen the success that you've had with many brands. So I'm sure you have lots of requests, but you're one person. So how do you decide? What makes you say, hey, I'm going with you and we're moving here?
Yeah, it's a great question. Fit is a big is important. I just naturally am going to spend more time with people that I enjoy spending time with. I find that.
Right.
But over the last number of years, as I've created a number of different tools, like my book and Fata Fleischman, our mentorship toolbox website, where we're giving our forms and tools and templates away to mentors, I kind of have a solution for a number of entrepreneurs. So if someone's saying, hey, can I pick your brain, Mike, for half an hour? I usually say, well, I get a couple hundred requests a month like that, and I don't have enough time to do it. But here's some of my options that could be helpful for you. Or if you have a specific question, ask me, and then I'll try to respond by text or voice note. Because there is only so many hours in the day. As my my social reach is now like 50,000 people, I get a lot of requests. People ask like, can I just have some time, and so try to do more of the one-to-many approach. Like I like LinkedIn, and I can do a live Q&A session where you get 100 or 200 people that show up, and then they can ask questions, and it's a lot more efficient that way for me. And so just more tools in my toolbox to help founders. I'm creating it kind of every day that I'm going on because I do enjoy it. But more for the investment in my portfolio, it's a longer process to connect with those founders. And I say to people, it's products that I love in my house that I have and I eat every day or drink every day, and then founders that I want to hang out with. We enjoy each other's company and can strategize together and have meals together, and I think that fit is very, very important as well.
That's really good that you do that, because some people will just, because you're known, some people will just say, hey, I want it all and I'm just going to help, but not really helping. And then it's as a distributor, we have to sometimes say no to some brands, and because we're not the right fit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have that guilt in you. You're like, but at the same time, then you're not the right fit. And as you said, it is true that you need to have a passion, a common passion, or because that's going to be a long-term relationship. So you need to make sure that you find people that you're happy to have lunch with, and answer the phone when they're asking for your advice. So that's really good that you do that.
What's your one magic bullet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what I find, whether I'm having a strategy chat with them or we're having a longer term discussion, it's always about the plan, right? Like what I've learned is have a plan and then act the plan out, right. and then learn from the plan and go and rewrite the plan and then act the plan again. It sounds simple, but that's without a roadmap in business, it's really hard to know where you're going. And as entrepreneurs, we get shiny object syndrome. Today, we see that and say, oh, should that be part of what we're doing? And should that be part of what we're doing? And so it's from startup to growing $100 million business. It's all about having the next stage of the plan and being as clear as possible. It doesn't have to be, we're not talking about a 100-page written business plan. That doesn't really make any sense. But I always think about it as like the 4 or 5 things in each department, the 4 or 5 things you need to do in sales, in marketing, in operations, and finance to move your business forward to the next level. And that's how I coach and mentor entrepreneurs, to help them see their vision of what the next steps of growth are for them.
Right.
And again, it's really different depending on what the stage of the business is.
Yeah. Interesting. Is there any brand or product innovation that really stands out to you from current trends?
I think we're continuing to go more and more to cleaner label and healthier food, because consumers are getting more aware. Like I found it crazy. Like when I 25 years ago, when I got into the industry, I started reading labels and I was like, oh, wow, I'm understanding what I'm actually looking at the back of the label, not only the nutrition facts, but actually the ingredients, right? What ingredients are in this? Yeah. And I found what works best for my body is, again, more of natural, like not processed or artificial ingredients. Like those things messed me up. And it wasn't about weight. It was about all these other ways that it could mess up the body. And so I see more and more consumers over the last 2 decades going there. They're turning labels around and saying, what's in this product? So the innovations and the trends in the industry are creating like a true good for you health food products, or making better for you versions of some of these classic products that we've had for a long time, but cleaning up the label, making it with simpler ingredients, making it maybe with lower sugar, making it so that when a consumer does pick up that label and look at it, that it checks the boxes for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a trend that's going to continue going on, because at the same time, people are more unhealthy. The population in Canada and the US is more unhealthy than it ever has been. I saw the stats of like 85% of people are metabolically unhealthy. If they go to the doctor and get their blood work and get tested, they're unhealthy. And so, even though in the last 25 years, our industry has grown from about 5% of the food system to like 10% of the food system, the rest of the world went the other way. They got more unhealthy. And so I think it's just going to be more and more focus on that. And the pandemic kind of played into that as well. People thinking, I better be a little more focused on my health than I was before.
Yeah. Yeah. Take ownership of your health. So you're definitely, like, how many years now, remind me of, that you've been doing that sort of consulting, as we say, like you've been
5 years.
5 years?
Yeah. Since 2019. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's in your vision of the future for you? Is it still like doing that, or you have other plans? Maybe you have the Mike Fata Institute and then people have retreat or something?
Yeah, you never know. I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. So I say it took me 5 years to really figure out my business plan. If I could summarize my business plan, it is investing in and supporting businesses in the venture stage of growth. So really, it's like $10 million of revenue and beyond. Yeah. And so there's limited companies that are at that stage. But for everyone else, for all the other companies in the health food space that are less than $10 million, that's where my support for them can go. Where my mentorship tools, even 60-second pitch is a new show of mine. I don't know if you've seen it.
Talk to us about that.
I'm just having fun with. bringing more awareness to these great entrepreneurs, right? And I can do that because I have a following of people that are interested in what I'm interested in. They want to see like that new brand or that new entrepreneur. And so those are things that, so I have my business that I do with my portfolio companies and investments, but the rest of the time is I'd call it more give back things that I do, and I really enjoy that. So it's taken me 5 years to really find this kind of Mike Fata
Niche.
2.0 space after selling the business. But hopefully I could do this for the next 40 or 50 years because I really enjoy it. And I've realized that I need to be full with my time. I like having full days where I'm making an impact and really feel like I'm living out my purpose.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I've known you for years, but I would say that through the years, I see that you're really in your jam right now. Like I could definitely see that you're just shining. Like I see the pitch, and it's really your sweet spot. And it's great to see that because again, as a distributor, we have so many brands that come to us and they're not ready. They're just not ready yet, and they need help out there to bring them. And so with your experience, I think it's absolutely valuable. And I'm sure there's many years of you helping ahead. So I think you still be busy many years on that.
For some of those vendors, so you've spoken about your toolbox. Where do we send them to go to kind of check out what the things that you have to offer?
Yeah, it's the website it's self-serve website. It's all free. Anyone can go sign up for a free account at www.fatafleischman.org.
Fatafleischman.org. We'll throw that in the show notes too.
Yeah. And so Greg Fleischman, who's also a really good industry a friend for the last 20 years, it started out because we were helping and mentoring these entrepreneurs, and people would say, do you have an example of an investment presentation, or do you have a budgeting doc that I could have, or an HR doc for a job description for my first hire? And we were sending them out by email. Okay. And then we realized, why don't we just make this self-serve and entrepreneurs can go and here's the link. Yeah. And so there's over 1,000 forms and tools and templates.
Wow,
it's been written up by Forbes magazine already. Thankfully, we have thousands of entrepreneurs that use it on the regular basis, and I wish I had that when I was starting out in business. That's why we created it, and so want more and more awareness because it can really help founders from startup all the way through to growing to a venture stage.
Yeah, because it's one thing to have a great product, but as we all know, it takes a lot more than that, right? A good idea in the market and just understanding pricing, costing, distribution, and all those margin and all to build that in. And then you turn into that marketing piece. And so there's a whole story. And I think that brands get just lost, right? They create a beautiful product, but then they sit there and they don't know where to go from next. So that hand holding is essential, and having all those free information from you is awesome.
Amazing that all that content is there.
Talk to me a little bit more about your pitch, because I just started to see that on your Instagram, and I think it's on Instagram. I follow you on all the channel, and now it's all confused in my head. But yeah, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I've had my podcast for 2 years, and last summer I decided I was going to take a break from the podcast because I wanted to see what else I can create, and the pitch idea came because we're living in a time where like Dragon's Den and Shark Tank from an entrepreneurship standpoint is more popular than ever. As well, like video content, like short form video content is also very popular. And I know that one of my unfair advantages is I have access to all these great founders in our industry, and both from startup now that are following and connecting with me, but well-established and successful entrepreneurs. And so I wanted to share their story, but I wanted to share it in a way of them pitching their business.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. And there's been 20 episodes so far. It's 60 seconds long. And on Instagram or on LinkedIn. And what I found is that entrepreneurs say, well, it's entertaining, and just generally everyone, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. It's entertaining because it's 60 seconds long, and you could really learn about a business. And we create some good video content with B-roll mixed in. But I have founders tell me I'm learning to be a better pitcher watching the video, because when you're pitching someone, every word matters.
Yeah.
You know, I tell we talk about this in 60 seconds. There's not a lot of time. If someone says, tell me one sentence about your business, and that sentence has like 15 or 20 words, every word matters. And you can get better at it. This is one of the things that you don't need to go to a fancy business school or whatever. As an entrepreneur, you can get better just by practicing and putting in the reps, seeing good examples and practicing it yourself. And so I'm having a lot of fun with the show. We took it, it's virtual. I'm doing it out of my studio, and then we took it live to CHFA Now, and I really like the live version. So now I've been mixing it in. We just shot some. I'm kind of going on tour with it. So we were in Toronto and did some in front of the CN Tower, and so we'll see more of that. Founders can sign up off of LinkedIn. I have a link there if they're interested in and being featured on the show. And I think I'm thinking about what does it look like after like 100 episodes, but we made it to the first 20.
So are you going to have somebody jumping off the CN Tower and doing their pitch on the way down?
This is what it's like under pressure.
Just a bit, right? That's fantastic. It's so helpful. I mean, we wanted to definitely bring you on the podcast. People know you, but I think it was very important. It is very important to share everything that how you're helping brands out there. And that pitch actually is so important. And I really want to emphasize on that, because it is true that people are passionate about their products or their company, but when they get to the point to put that in,
if they can't be clear and concise on what they have to offer and why that's a winner for who they're pitching to, then it's all lost.
Practice in front of
and no, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you saying that, like you see me in my sweet spot after the years, because here's my lesson to others in that is I'm being more authentically myself than I ever have been in my business career, and I want that for more that for more entrepreneurs, because I used to think that I had to dress up for business. You know, I share some of this stuff, like I literally put a suit on, go to the trade show, and not to say anything's wrong with suits, but you have to be authentically yourself, right? And so as a founder, your superpower as an entrepreneur is being authentically yourself. And so I've found that place for me. I want that for other entrepreneurs as well, because sharing your personal story builds your personal brand. And that storytelling is also very, very important nowadays. You see the entrepreneurs that are breaking out with great storytelling. And I'm wearing the jersey today. Midday Squares is a great example of it. I think that's only going to become more important as the years go on from here. But you could have a great product and you could be a great person, but if you don't make the right noise, no one's going to know about you. You know, or less people are going to know. So your business is going to maybe not have all the opportunity it should.
Yeah, it's crowded space. You got to stand out.
And as you just said, it's important to be you, not trying to fake it because you're looking at mid-square what they're doing and you say, oh, that's how I should behave. No, that's them. That is their personality. Don't try to be them. Just be you. If it's a suit that you like, if it's your hat, your hat that you like, whatever, what is you. So when you get into the crowd, it's easier to pitch because you're just being yourself. You don't have to think about being the pale imitation. And that's absolutely what I've definitely seen in you. And it's great to see that being an example out there for the entrepreneur. So yeah, good job.
I appreciate it.
Into some rapid fire.
Yes. You started out,
Here we go. Mike, what's one non-negotiable in your morning routine?
Sauna.
You have one on site?
I have two at home, thankfully. I have a traditional sauna and I have an infrared sauna, but I've had an infrared sauna for 20 years now. It's moved 3 different houses, and I tell people just get an infrared sauna. Heat, even when you're not feeling, I say the non-negotiable because even when you're not feeling it, I think about the sauna as like a spa day. Even 20 minutes in the sauna, if you're not feeling strong enough to work out that morning or whatever, it has such positive effects on the body. Everybody could do it. You have cultures around the world that use it as a healing tool, and it's helped me a lot.
So every day, 20 minutes in the sauna.
Do you have a specific time that you do it, or it depends on your schedule?
I usually get up in the morning. Yeah, and I'll usually combine it with exercise, but in the days that I'm sore or it's my day off, I don't do the exercise, but I do the sauna. Usually now I do sauna and cold plunge after. My morning routine, it depends how much time I have, but if I have my full routine, I have a kind of coffee and get going, go down to the gym and work out, and then do a sauna, then do a cold plunge, a little meditation, and I'm set straight. I'm ready to tack on the day and get into deep work. I think it's, I've learned that if you're doing deep work and you're in this flow state of deep work, you can be up to 10 times more efficient than kind of showing up at your desk and just doing whatever for 8 hours and thinking you're working. No, I want to go in and like in 3 or 4 hours accomplish a tremendous amount.
Yeah, it's so important that because people say, oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. We hear that a million times, but it's so true. You need to set your day straight. And I share the same sort of routine as you. And once you're sort of that non-negotiable and you understand that it's really investing in setting the mood of the day, and then you get into and you're so like really focused and very productive.
And I see you doing it too. I see the shares and stuff. And I just tell people like it's especially for entrepreneurs and in our industry, listen, it's one thing when you're at home or you're in your home environment. It's another when you're on the road, and a lot of us travel, we have to go see each other. But you have to have a reduced version of your routine. You can't just go from like have your routine and then do nothing. And so I tell people I could be 2 hours or 3 hours if I have the time, and I get up early in the morning and I go work out and I do, sauna, cold plunge, meditation, all these things. It takes time. But if I'm on the road and I only have 20, 30 minutes in the morning, I'm doing some hotel room workout, some squats, some push-ups, something. Because you can't doing nothing is you're going backwards. You have to you have to keep on the body moving. It's if not, we just become less effective as people.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your first natural product that you really fell in love with?
Flaxseed oil was the first, because when I went from the no-fat diet to learning about, even before we made our hemp oil, which was our first product, flax was the one that restored some of my health. Like I started taking the flaxseed oil for omega-3, and my skin was better, started getting better, and my hair and stuff. So I still eat the less flax oil, but I eat flaxseed as part of my diet on the regular, and hemp parts.
Interesting.
What's your go-to for a way to stay active?
A mixture nowadays. I do weight training and cardio, but I'll do like heavy weights, or I'll do like high intensity HIIT. I like hot yoga as well. Running, jogging, biking, and swimming. So I like to mix it up so it never feels like it's always fresh,
not boring.
Not boring. Yeah, keep it fresh and active.
Yeah, you can do everything when you travel and you adapt to the surrounding, basically.
Yeah, a lot to choose from.
Yes. What is the most adventurous thing that you've ever done?
Traveling to Thailand, I think, was the first. Like after we started the business, I didn't take a vacation for the first 6 years, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to go away at the end of the year, and I went to Thailand for 4 weeks, and it was just a different world that I stepped into, and it was so. I'm a big traveler and I've traveled for business a lot, but that was the first kind of major international one that just opened my eyes. And then I've since gone back a number of times and traveled to other locations around the world and stuff. But I just tell people, when you travel, man, can it expand your mind to what's possible?
It's incredible.
It really like, and so Thailand's one of my favorite places still.
Yeah. What was your thing about Thailand? Like what would the thing that I would say that you remembered the most, or what attracted you to it? Or
it's just so, well, one at that time it was pretty economical, which it is, but the food is good, the weather is beautiful, the beaches are beautiful, the people are super nice, like it's friendly Thailand, and so there's just so much to offer, but it also is your dollar goes a lot further. So the only challenging part is the cost of a flight and the time of a flight. But I used to have points from my Air Canada points or whatever points from traveling around, and so you save them all up for the free flight, and then you get there and I could live for less there than I would be living in Canada for sure on a day-to-day basis.
How long is the flight there? Is it like a 15, 16 hours, something like that, or more?
Yeah, it takes it's probably, you can't, from depending on where you are in Canada, you can't get there in less than 24 hours total. A couple of different flights and transition and stuff. So it's and you think really actually from Manitoba it's about 30 hours, and so that's there and back. It's 3 days of travel basically. So you have to go for 2 weeks at least, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, to really make
change.
sort of travel. Yeah.
How do you keep up on the plane to feel good when you come out of the plane? Because I've done a couple of travels with a lot of hours and I have my own recipe, but always very intrigued by how you keep up, to feel good when you travel.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. Learned a lot about how my body needs to work in those situations. And so generally less food for me, more hydration, just focus on the hydration. And so I drink a lot of water, a lot of electrolytes, and try to stay away from too much coffee. I do like coffee, but like too much coffee on flights, and try to stay away from wine or alcohol. Maybe one glass of wine, but not too much alcohol. And I just found that I don't eat. I don't like eat heavy when I'm on flights because those are the things that make me feel really tired and lethargic. And then whenever I finished my flight, generally, especially overseas like that, go and like work out and get active, get the body really active afterwards.
I'm on the same page as you. That's right. The first stop as when we land. Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
One. Yes.
Yes, actually. So you've acted as a role model and mentor for so many people. Who is a role model or a mentor, or a key one for you?
Yeah, I've had thankfully a good handful of mentors that played a huge role. The first being John Holtman, so which is huge legacy in our industry.
Absolutely.
So John was a Winnipegger, and I met him and started selling to the Vita Health stores in Winnipeg, and then John. We would go out to lunch and he would tell me how the industry works. And at that time, he had been chairman of the CHFA, and
he knew.
They used to have Vita Health products distribution, which John helped me get into. And then when that business was challenged and transitioned and Purity transitioned over to Purity. So we've had that relationship for 20 years or something. But John helped me all the way through. I looked up to John, and so I won the John Holtman Leadership Award a couple of years ago, and it was a very special moment for me because he had such a big impact on me and the business.
Full circle moment for you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, very much so.
That's cool.
Well, Mike, that was a pleasure to have you, and for all you've done with the brand that you brought to the industry, but also what you're doing for everybody right now, and we'll make sure that in the notes of the episode that we have all your links so people can reach out to all the amazing tools. So thank you for your time with your busy men.
Yeah, no, thanks again for having me. Yeah, if people want to reach out, LinkedIn is probably the best platform, and just send me a note saying you heard you listened to the show, and happy to connect.
Amazing. Excellent. Thank you for your time.
Now, time for a little new to Purity Life. Mm-hmm. And today we're talking about sports research. New brand to us, new brand to Canada. Absolutely. We've been eyeing this brand for a while, so we're very excited to present it.
Yeah, for different reasons. As you know, first of all, it's a big trend. Yeah. Everything that is sports nutrition has been for a couple of years. Yeah. Prevention and performance kind of mixed together. What we were looking forward to with sports research is also the difference in the packaging look.
Mm-hmm. So accessible. It's so nice.
Yes. And for those who are listening, the packaging is very, I would say, it's not overpowering, but very different colors. So when you have them on shelf, you have that black, that beige, and then green, but it's kind of simple in the way it's laid out on the
packaging. Yes. Even the way that it's just a straight cylinder. It's not like your usual ones where you kind of have that taper in. Yeah. So it's very different from that sense, but it keeps it really clean. Yeah. And they've really made the packaging fit the quantity that's inside. I don't know a better way to explain that, but for a lot of these kinds of products, they're so big and bulky, and these ones really are just tapered for the amount of product that's in it.
Absolutely.
So it's a bit smaller, freer.
So product-wise, they have like a full regimen. So it's not just like a sports nutrition brand where you wouldn't have, all the basic vitamins. So it's kind of a one-stop shop, basically. Yeah. So you have your collagen, protein, probiotics and enzymes, MCT oils, essential fatty acid, vitamin D. Yeah. And they're also coming as well with some creatine gummies.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
It will be a little bit later on, but that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
As we know, people like to take their creatine. It's very popular, has been for a different reason, like to improve your workout, but also mental health has been shown for.
Well, and I think that's the thing, right? With the creatine now, we're spanning different markets. We're getting into the older generation, the younger ones, the females, males. It's not just for, the heavy athlete anymore.
So they will offer you that creatine gummy, which is very different. We see powder most of the time. They're also going to come with some hydration sachet as well. So in small boxes, we saw it at the show.
Yes, we saw it in Anaheim and we saw it at CHFA
West. So again, those nice little black boxes that will stand out. As we know, hydration is big and it's good to have different type of offers so it can fit with different needs. So
they have a neat feature too. So they have on their website, they have a track your lot.
Okay, what is that?
So it's track your lot on their website. And basically with any one of the products, you choose your product and then you put your lot in and you can track exactly where it's coming from. So
that's awesome.
Really lots of transparency with this brand too.
Yeah, we love transparency
yes, we
here.
do.
Yeah, absolutely. So give it a try, give it a look, speak to your rep at Purity Life, and it's coming very soon.
Thanks so much for joining us. We had such a great episode. Mike was amazing.
Yes.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Send us your feedback. We want to know what you like, what you want to hear. We're at marketing@puritylife.com. You can follow us on Insta, Purity Life Health Products LP. I'm at Erin G. Macklin.
JD_Girl Power. And join us next week. We'll have Bruce Cole, founder of CNHR.
Yes, love him.